So I thought I'd show you my Bessy Clamp, all the modifications that I've made to it. So the first thing I did, put a hole in it, ground flush the fat spot on there, and put a hitch pin so I can take this arm off. I'll get into why I did that in a minute, but there is a reason. The other thing I did, replace this handle with a bolt and stover nut, so it holds if you put a little bit of tension on it, and then I welded a nut on the end there. The reason I did that is so that I can put a ratchet on there, or an electrical one. And then this, obviously that comes off so it's not swinging around like that if you're going to be doing that continuously for a job, just to give you more options. What I also have are several attachments that I've added to it. So the first one I have is this one. This is for the fixed arm, as you can probably guess. It's for pipe and round bar. So, got a pipe. Just to see, you can see what I'm on there. Which is my first choice. I do have one for the movable pad, but this one's a lot better because it doesn't move on you when you're trying to get that top dead center spot on it. So but that might not always be an option for you. But I find that's the best for clamping pipe, round bar, whatever. I used a fairly small angle iron, and then put a flat bar plate on there just to beef it up, just to reinforce it so this doesn't get squashed, because it's fairly thin. HSS went with 1.5. Don't do what I did. I put the seam right here, so it's kind of in the way of the pad. What I mean by the seam on the, I don't know if you can see that. Nope. But anyway, take my word for it. There's a seam right here, and it goes in line. So try to locate the seam in such a way that it's not going to interfere with the sliding in with the pad. So use your best judgment. Then what I also added, I got one for the movable jaw as well, just in case I have to clamp a pipe or something all the way around on both sides, or for whatever reason I'm not able to use the fixed jaw in that position. So something's like if this pipe was recessed into a box or something, then I would need to use probably this one to get at it, or I can use this to clamp all around. I got jaws on both sides. Line it up. So now I can grab a pipe from both sides. I do have a set screw for it, so you can adjust that with a pair of MIG pliers. But yeah, this is a piece of pipe with a cap, small angle. You can use whatever size. I kind of picked the smaller angle just so that it's more close to what I would typically use for sizes, but you can get a bigger one or a smaller one according to the job, or build another one with a smaller, bigger one. That I find is a good general purpose size. Then what I also made is this one here for extended reach. So it's kind of like a seat clamp, so if you have a lip on something or something is recessed and you're needing to use the movable arm for the other side, like oftentimes you'll have something that's on the outside and then whatever's recessed you can use the movable arm to kind of reach inside of something. But sometimes I find that you have to use the fixed side. And then what I've done in the past is I got a piece of 4x4 or HSS to take up the distance. But if you got this, then you don't need to do that. I could probably put a set screw somewhere on this to hold it there, but for the time being I didn't do it. It's important that when you build these, that the center of either the V or the extension lines up with the spindle, or else it's not going to clamp. It's just going to keep moving from side to side. And then what I did is I just made it the length of the arm, so that way it's like its own stopper, and then you're not trying to, because if you cut it to here, then you'd have to get a set screw, and then you'd have to line it up each and every time. This way, it just makes it pretty foolproof, then it just lines up. But that's for, again, if you had something that's recessed on both sides, it allows you to grab something from either side. I put a flat bar on this side as well for this reason. So coming back to why I have that off, you can probably already guess what I'm going to do with this. Did I do that right? Yep, I did that right. So now I have the option to push something apart if I want to. Like that. Or if I just want the flat side, I can use that too. If I don't need the extension for whatever reason, then I still have that flat side. I'll just use that to push something. But the extension is there if I need it. I used a, I think you call that a threaded union. That way I can adjust that, or I can put a longer or shorter. Well, I don't think I'd need to put a shorter one in there, but I can put a longer one in there if need be. The last attachment that I have is this guy here. This one goes on the end of here. The reason for that one is so basically I can turn this into a dog or a half clamp if I want to. So all I do is I flip this around like this. Look at that. And I take this. This is just two pieces of 1/2-inch flat bar welded together with a notch here, nut and a bolt and a washer. Pretty straightforward. More so basically what it's for is to have a sacrificial piece of metal on the end of it to avoid damaging your actual Bessy clamp. It just gives you some meat to weld, so you can just weld it on wherever you need to, and then use it as a dog or a half clamp. So I guess if I had this on a table, if I didn't give a shit about my table, or you had something out in the middle of wherever on a big job, then you can just take your welder, weld this on, clamp it, and you know what you want. Which to me is a lot better option than taking a perfectly good C-clamp and chopping it in half to get the same effect. You know, you have the fast-acting arm of a Bessy clamp on top of that, and the reach that goes with it as well. So, which are all advantages in my books. So yeah, that's about it.